How's it going, people?
Good afternoon, folks.
We're back.
We are back.
Hopefully, we can
How we doing
entertain
today?
you a little bit.
Yes, happy Friday.
Okay, so what we're going to talk about today is a couple of things, actually. Let's start with something that we left off with on our last brief meeting. We were talking. Excuse me. We were
Transgender
talking about.
sports.
Well, yeah, that. But remember, we said we were going to talk about
Oh, the paranormal. Yes.
Okay, so I don't know if you guys have gotten a chance to watch it, but there's a show called Paranormal Caught on Tape. Okay. And what makes it so funny is that they tend to make the most extraordinary thing sound typical. You know what I'm saying, right?
Like, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, like they would say, like if a chair moves to the right, they would say that's not typical. A ghost would have to move it to the left.
Exactly.
You know,
Or like, to give you another one, you see a Bigfoot, okay? And the Bigfoot,
yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, the Bigfoot will be hitting the tree with like, a stick, and it'll go, normally, like this is normal with
Normally
Bigfoot.
he doesn't do that.
So,
How do you know?
Yeah, but it's not even just that. It's with ghosts. It's with everything. A child to be in his crib, and all of a sudden he'll stand up on the edge of a crib, and they'll say something to the effect of, that's got to be somebody who cares about him because they're holding him up there. Now, my opinion of that is, if it was somebody that cares about him, they ain't putting him up there to begin with.
Yeah, that's right.
But again, I get it. That, this is kind of their bread and butter, and they got to kind of keep
But it's just funny. If you watch, it's just funny what they say. That's all.
Okay, so we get through that. Let's go on to something else now. Let's talk a little bit about the Trump indictment, because that's kind of up in the air, and people don't really know what's going on with that. So basically, let me run through
It's very sad what's going on in this country.
It really is.
Our democracy's being ruined.
You don't mind someone even being indicted if it's for the right reason.
Right.
If it's for the reason that they actually did something, not because you just don't like the man. Anyway, so basically what happened here was Michael Cohen paid Stormy Daniels some money, and then
hush money to be quiet. So.
Which there's nothing illegal, and if you check, majority of anybody who has over, like, say, $500 million has done it. I mean, I can guarantee you. It's easier to keep people quiet than it is to go through the lawyers and all of that.
And your family find
right.
out.
Anyway, so then what happened was Trump took Michael Cohen's word that everything was copacetic and on the up and up, and he ended up paying Michael Cohen back the $130,000. Now, the question is, where did the $130,000 come from? Did it come from campaign funds, or did it come from
his own
personal?
money? Right, his personal.
Now, from what I understood, I could be wrong, but from what I understood, Trump was self-funded, which means that how can you discern whether it came from his personal account or whether
the campaign?
It's all his money. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. Anyway, so that's kind of where we're at now. The reason that it's
so sad.
What makes it really sad is that it's
politicizing it.
It's blatant. It's not even like they're trying to hide it. They're basically trying to mar a candidate for the presidency of the United States. Now, the funny part about this, which I didn't even realize, I just found out today, is that you can actually, listen to this, you can actually be in jail and be a president. You can run for president from jail. The only requirement is American citizen and over the age of 35. Now, the funny part about this is, if you're in jail, you don't have the right to vote. So you can't even vote for yourself. You can run for president, but you can't vote for yourself. Think about that a minute. Now, there's something heinous in there. I mean, I can't tell you what it is, but it's there. Anyway, so basically at this point, Bragg ran on the idea that he was going to go after Trump. That was his.
He said it from the beginning. His campaign trail. He said he was going to go after
look it up. You can look up anything
that
he said in the past, and you'll see what I'm saying. Now, what that does is that brings in the idea of malicious prosecution. Malicious prosecution is basically the idea that he's had something personal against him, and no matter what, he was going to abuse his power.
Abuse his power to go after him. Yes.
And that's what kind of what he's doing. Exactly. That's kind of what he's doing. Now, I'm not a lawyer again, but if I was Trump, the first thing I would do is aside from trying to have the whole charge vacated, the next thing I would do would be to try to request a change of venue.
Yes.
Because you can't get a fair trial in New
York.
Get
a fair trial in New York.
At the same token, you're going to take away this guy's jollies. This guy, he wants you really bad, so take it away from him. Send it to Florida. Send it to, that's where Trump actually lives. And I've heard countless newspaper people turn around and say there's no way he can get a fair trial.
Not here in New York, no.
Exactly. And this isn't me
No.
saying it. This is like,
People say it.
CNN,
Other right,
MSNBC.
CNN, Wall Street Journal.
These are the devs.
All of these newspapers, yes. All these media.
And if they have to admit it, then a court has to accept it. I mean, if it's coming from that many people.
Yeah, he's not going to get a fair trial in New
There's
York.
no way. First off, I don't even think it's going to end up at trial. And in the end, mark my words, okay? What's today's date? Today's the 31st.
31st.
Okay, 31st of March. By 31st of March next year, Bragg will have been disbarred. Something will come up about his past, and he will end up in jail. I'm just putting it out there. The man cannot be trusted to do.
No, he can't do his job.
To do it.
He's let felony cases go.
Listen, let me put it to you this way, okay? If you've got a surgeon who is an amazing surgeon, he's the best ever. He's the best heart surgeon there ever was. You think if a heart comes to him that's not in good shape, he's not going to operate on it? This guy doesn't pursue cases because he's no good at pursuing them.
He's let a lot of felonies go. A lot. And
Yeah.
meanwhile, he's trying to bring up Trump on a felony. Which
No,
is
actually,
not a
it's not even a felony. He's trying to tie it to make it a
try
felony.
to make it a felony.
What
right.
he's trying to do, and that's another thing. He doesn't really even have
meanwhile,
the right.
he doesn't follow on other cases.
He really, I don't know. Now they're saying there's 34
yeah, 34,
charges
35 charges, right.
Initially, I thought it was only one, to be honest with you. From what I understood, it was a campaign fund type of thing. I don't know what these other ones are, so I could be totally talking out of my ass here. And it won't be the first time because I've done it before.
Oh, yeah.
But
we do it. We do it.
Anyway, getting back to the subject. The main issue I have here is that he's a state DA, and what he's bringing up is a Fed case. So he doesn't even have the right to do it. Somehow he's got to twist and turn his case in order to make it fit his agenda of what he needs. You follow what I mean?
Right. So he's just looking for anything to make his case.
Right. It's kind of like
because he doesn't really have a case.
It's kind of, I'm trying to think of like an explanation of what it would be like. He just doesn't have the what's the word I'm looking for? Jurisdiction. There, that's the word.
Jurisdiction. Okay.
He doesn't have the jurisdiction to even be doing this. By tying it in with something, and then the other thing is the statute of limitations. It's 2 years.
2 years. Now we're in 7 years now. We're in the 7th year.
7th year. I mean, that's just crazy. I mean, this is from 2015 or 2016 or something.
They're not going to let this man live because he's going to run again.
Right.
So they want to stop him from running. That's all.
What they really want right now, and it's funny because they seem to keep cutting their own.
Throats.
My grandmother would say, "You're cutting off your nose to spite your face."
Yeah. That's a good saying. That's right.
Wasn't that a great saying?
That's right.
And what it means is basically what they've been doing is they've been trying to stop him. What they want out of this whole thing is a mugshot. That's really what it is. He should just go take the mugshot and it would all be over. They want a mugshot in order to run on their campaign. On their campaign commercials.
Oh yeah, like when you get arrested, you get your mugshot.
Yeah. So they're going to
put that up
mugshot
and say this is what he did.
What they don't realize is that the American people see that mugshot as a badge of honor.
Right,
okay?
almost like a martyr.
The reason that he has that mugshot is because he's been on our side.
That's right.
That's kind of the way it's seen. Now,
that's right.
As long as we're on this, I also want to go another route, and I want to explain what people say MAGA and that sort of stuff. Okay, let's start off with the idea of MAGA first. Okay, so they say, "Oh, that ultra MAGA supporters, this, that, and everything." We don't support Trump because it's a cult. Okay.
No, we support him because what he did.
If you put somebody better than him in there, I will.
I would support for him. Right. I support him.
I have no problem with that. But when you put someone, I'm going to use Joe Biden as an example. Joe Biden on his best year, his best salary was maybe $285,000 up until presidency. Let's say it was maybe $285,000 a year, give or take. Somehow this man's worth $44 million or $88 million, something like that.
Do the math, people.
Obama walked into the White House. I think he was worth $65,000 and walked out over
13 million.
Over 40 million.
40 million.
The Clintons, great example. Okay, my problem is someone who walks into any political position. They walk in there poor and they're all of a sudden they're rich.
Rich because they want the power.
Now you take Trump. Trump actually went the other way. Trump lost money. Trump never took
He never took a dollar.
paycheck. He never took a paycheck. No, he did. He had to take $1.
Oh, $1.
$1.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
right.
I mean,
$1.
I
That's
don't
right.
mean to interrupt you, but that's the
No,
truth.
that's right. He took $1.
$1. He
right.
had to take a ceremonial dollar.
But I know what you're saying. He didn't take
Right.
anything.
What he did with his pay was he either donated it to wounded warriors,
Right. The vets. The
right? To any
veterans.
sort of veteran,
Right.
yeah, any sort of veteran. You know, the one that does the houses. I can't
The
think of what the name
houses.
of it is. What's
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, his brother just died in 9/11.
Steven Siller Foundation. Which again,
Tunnel
listen,
for
guys,
Towers.
that it's a great foundation by all
Right.
means. You know, I have no affiliation with anything, so if I say something like that, I'm just telling you. The thing about Tunnel to Towers is that they're literally, this is the truth, 95 cents out of every dollar that you donate goes directly to the actual fund. It goes to
Right.
the actual, the actual beneficiaries,
Right.
with the
Right.
5 cents being for permits,
Now, this
whatever
is-
they need.
Now, this is what this man did with his money.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
but anyway, Trump actually lost probably close to $1 billion by being our president.
In 4 years, yes.
And he never complained about it. He's also the most, what's the word? Investigated man, has to be in history.
In history.
In history. I'm not
yes.
even saying
Yep.
like as a president. I'm saying in history.
In history.
Period.
Right. One person.
But getting back to the subject, so
One man.
he's not like some people would turn around and say, well, you look at him kind of like, he's a deity or something like that. That's not it. What happened was the United States changed. Okay, we changed.
Oof, we changed
We used to
everything.
be like pre-1990s. Go back to 60s, 70s, 80s. What you had was you grew up about 18. You met a girl. By 22, you were married. By 25, you had kids in the house.
Yep.
Your dad got you into his union.
And by 50, you're dead.
Well, no, wait, but
Kidding.
anyway. So by 50,
Right.
you got me doing that now. Okay. But anyway, by 25, your dad had gotten you in his union. You were building an annuity, a pension,
Right.
and that
Got a
sort of
nice
thing.
coffee.
You had 2 or 3 kids at this point. You waited till you were 60, you retired, and then you went off into the sunset. And that's what the United States was up until the 80s. What happened in the 80s was we got something called Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
And when microchips came into
That's it.
to our, we became a much more lucrative society. And think of it like this: if 1980s someone came up to you and said, I know a billionaire, just one, I know a billionaire,
Yeah.
you'd call him a liar because
Right.
there was only like 10 billionaires
10
or something like that in the
billionaires,
world. Today we have over 1,000. Okay, so
It's a business country now.
yeah, it's
It's all business.
if you don't know, if you've never had to cut a check or run a business, you should not be president.
Right.
Okay,
Read a contract, anything.
yeah, it's not a family situation anymore where you have someone like, I'll give you an example, someone like, a Jimmy Carter.
Jimmy Carter.
Jimmy Carter was a great, now a lot of people hate Jimmy Carter, and I get it. He did a lot of stuff that wasn't really smart. First off, he was a physicist, in case people don't know that.
Right.
Like everybody thinks of him as a peanut farmer. And he was. No, he really was.
Yeah, he was,
But
yes.
in reality, he was a
He was a
physicist.
physicist,
That's what
right.
he did. That's what his
That's what he
occupation
did,
was.
right.
Anyway, so Jimmy Carter was a great guy as a guy.
But as a president.
Bad businessman.
Right.
Okay, horrible businessman. As a president, he was a little too
Soft.
Yeah,
A little too
soft,
soft.
exactly.
He was a little
And
too soft.
Now, if you
Like the
take
president we have now, very
right,
weak.
that's
Very weak.
pretty much where I was going. If you take someone like that today, and you put him in there, you're going to have a lot. Today, what you need is
Right.
you need someone who understands how to make money. Okay, here, let's put it this way. You give a poor person $1,000, and you come back 2 days later, and that person has $20 left. You give a rich person $1,000,
He's gonna
and you come back 2 days later, and he's got $10,000. And the difference is what poor people do with money is they spend it. And what rich people do with money
They
is
invest
they
it.
make more money.
Right, they invest and they make more.
And that's
right.
what you need in this society, because we have so many programs that need money, that need to be financed, that need to,
Right.
and we're not going to get there through taxes. That's
No.
not going to work.
No.
Okay,
no.
because the more you tax, you're just putting somebody else in a situation
Right.
that the people that you're helping
And
are
you're
in
just
right
throwing
now.
money on the fire.
Well, think of it like this: if you take $20 from Peter to give it to Paul, Peter is now $20 poorer,
Right.
and you do that enough times, and Peter is now Paul.
Right. He's gonna be poor.
Eventually,
like
he's
Paul.
going to be this
Right.
guy. Now Paul's
Right.
got to give him 20. What are we playing? Seesaw with money?
Yep. Back and
I mean,
forth. Monopoly.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense.
Nope.
So what you need is someone like
To make money. Right? Read contracts.
I try to give
business deals.
right someone
You
who,
have to.
and what I don't personally understand is
Especially
why.
we deal with other countries. I'm sorry, we deal with other countries who are right now economically better than we are.
Well, you take someone like Paul Pelosi, for example. Paul Pelosi is
geez.
a great example. Paul Pelosi has one of the best investing track records.
Yes, he does.
Okay,
Yes, he does.
it's so good that there is a site that says Paul Pelosi stock picks.
Yes, I saw that.
Okay, and what it is any move he makes, they tell you, so you can make the same move and make the same money that he's making. Now, Paul Pelosi, the reason that he's such a great example, okay, first off, you got to know he had an edge over everybody else. Nancy Pelosi is the second.
Husband.
Yeah, she was the third in charge. She would have the third one to be president. Anyway, so she knew when certain rights were being given to certain companies, when other companies' rights were being taken away, when permits weren't going to be given, etc.
Right.
So he kind of played off of all of that, and I get that. But my thing with this is, when you have someone who has that type of stock track record, why wouldn't you allow them to actually take a third of, let's say, not necessarily Social Security, but something simple like
Medicaid.
Even Medicaid. Take like a 30 percentile and let him invest it
Right.
without being speculative. Let him invest it in rock solid things that, like,
will help our country.
Let's put it this way. If you had a $49 bill every month, right? Every month there's $49. And you could find a stock that gave you a $49 dividend every month. That's now free.
There you go.
So why can't this be done now again, I'm an idiot. I'm not going to lie. I know I'm an idiot. I just have ideas. I could be entirely off base on all of this. But this just seems to make sense to me for some reason.
Common sense, people.
To me, that seems like common sense. Exactly.
Common sense.
If you can take the bill away by having an investment, why wouldn't you do that?
Yeah.
You could support everything, and make it self-supportive, make it self-functioning, because it's always got that money coming in every month on a dividend.
That's right.
Anyway, so.
No, but we need a president who would do that. Business smarts. That's what we need today.
Yeah, you
definitely look at the other countries we're dealing with.
You definitely have to have somebody who's cut a check before too, who understands unemployment insurance,
right?
Who understands
and puts jobs you need
manufacturing.
For work.
Yeah, absolutely.
And keep everything here in America. Buy American. This is what we got to do, people.
Well, that's the other thing you have to understand. See, a lot of our presidents didn't really have the actual understanding of the monetary system. By that I mean how competitive our money is to other, exactly, to the yen, and unless you understand that, you really can't leverage correctly, and you can't.
No, you have to
negotiate well.
Right.
You can't, and okay. So now let's go a little further. So
you have to know what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, forget about it.
The other thing I've heard from I want to make this clear. I'm an independent. I'm not a Republican. Okay, I want to start that off.
Same here.
I'm an independent. I don't believe in whoever's the best is who I'm going to put in there.
There you go. You vote for who's going to do right by you.
Great. I have no problem with it. If it's a Republican, I have no problem with it.
As long as they do right.
That's the key. That's it. As long as they're not lying to me, and they're not. And I know a lot. Trump's lying to you. Trump isn't lying. That's one thing I can tell you. He's not lying to you. That the man is too cold to lie. Okay, he's going to tell you exactly how things are.
Oh, he'll tell you straight out. Yes.
The sad thing is that a lot of people can't handle that. But a
lot of people out there can't handle truth.
Right. And what I would say to them is this. Listen, they're like, oh, I don't like his personality. Well, that's all well and good. Let's use the doctor analogy again. So you have a brain surgeon who has a 100% success rate. Oh, that's my dog. My dog's scratching the floor. Anyway, so you have a brain surgeon that has a one. Yeah. It's 5:00. My cat's here to let me know it's time to eat.
4:30.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so let's take the thing. So you got a brain surgeon that has a 100% success rate, okay? But he's got the worst personality you ever met. I mean, you can't stand being around this guy for a minute. I mean, you want to kill him. But you have a brain tumor.
And he's the only one that can take care of you. Yes.
Now, you got a dentist a half a block away or something, who's the nicest guy on the face of the earth. I mean, he's literally Mr. Rogers with like a dental pick, okay? Nicest guy going, he's a dentist. Are you going to go to him to have your head done because
He's a nice guy.
He's a nice guy?
No.
Exactly. No, you're going to go to the guy
You're
who's
gonna
going
go-
to save your life.
Right. You're gonna
And
go to
that's
the one
what
that
we
can do
need
it.
right now with Donald Trump.
Right.
Is we need a guy
We need
who will walk. You can say,
No, as you said, we need our country back, like you said.
well, beyond that, we also need a guy to walk in there that Putin's going to sit up straight for. We need a guy to walk in there that G's going to go, oh my God,
Right.
he's back.
Right. Putin.
Okay.
Right. Putin.
That's what we need.
Right.
Now you got to remember, you can say a lot of things about Trump, but Trump walked into North Korea
The only
on his
president
own
that
two
did
legs.
that.
The only president to ever do that.
That's right.
Okay.
And you also notice Putin didn't do a thing
And
in 4 years
right.
during Trump's
Look
presidency.
at Rocket Man. Rocket Man never set
Rocket
one
Man,
rocket up.
right.
We've had like 11 in the past, whatever.
Because when you have a weak president, this is what happens.
Yep. Exactly. And the other thing I would say is that the thing about Trump is they look at him and they know that
He's not playing.
what he says he will
It's
do.
true. Right.
He doesn't, and now I don't mean to go into conjecture on this. Some of you may not like what I'm going to say, and I'm okay with that. This is my opinion. You may not believe it, and you can think I'm wrong, and that's great. But my opinion is very simple: that Biden at this point is controlled by both Russia and China, and that's why he can't allow Ukraine to win, because he's got to. First off, he's got to help Ukraine because the United States people demand that. Okay, so he's got to show some
He's
sort
got to
of.
show something.
He's
Right.
got to show some sort of aid.
But then
Okay,
he can't go against
but
Russia.
he can't allow them to win because
Right.
then that's against Russia.
Right.
He also can't. Well,
Go against China.
right, he can't go against
Because
China.
will tell.
That's why we can't find out about Wuhan.
Right.
So whatever these people have on him, he's worried about coming out. And
Yeah, he's not worried about the people.
no,
Not at all. Come on,
Not
people,
anyway.
wake up and smell the coffee.
But that's why he won't allow Ukraine to win, because
Right.
if Ukraine wins, whatever he's got going on in Russia goes out the window. Now,
And
get back to
China,
Trump
right.
a minute now. Now you're hearing all of this rigmarole about China, about Ukraine, about Russia. When Trump was in office, we had the 4 most peaceful years in almost a century. I believe it was 70 years.
In the
70
Middle
plus
East,
years.
he even put
He,
peace.
he almost
in
had
the
peace,
Middle
right? Exactly.
East.
He was within inches of peace in the Middle East.
There was
He
nothing
had-
going on.
He had them sitting at the table. You know what he told Iran and Iraq? He told them, listen, okay, you hurt one of our Americans, and I have a bomb with your name on it, and I know exactly where you live. And I will remove your neighborhood or your province or whatever it's called.
The whole neighborhood,
I
right?
will
Like you
remove the
said.
province from the area. And
he
they know
wasn't
he's not
playing.
kidding.
And he's not playing.
So
He
what?
told Putin, "You invade Ukraine. I know where you live."
Right, exactly.
And
Yeah,
the-
I have
and
your
the-
address, and I know where your family lives too.
And did
That's what he said to him.
Putin invade?
No American was hurt in 3 years. I mean, not one American.
4
even
years,
got
right?
3. No, 3.
3. Sure, excuse me.
Yeah, 3. That would happen. There was some sort of conflict right during that time, and an American got hurt. It wasn't bad. It was something light.
Right. Okay.
And
okay.
he came up and he said, "Listen, if one more American even so much as gets a scratch,
Right.
I know where
Take
you
it
live.
out.
Right, I'll make it disappear."
Yo, people, just go back and look 4 years ago.
Think about
5
how-
years or whatever the hell.
Think
6
about
years.
how you were living
Right.
back then.
That's all.
Think about
Just
how
think.
gas at $1.80. Think about how
Food.
inflation was at 1.4%.
There you go.
1.4. We're at 9 now.
And your rents.
Okay. Think about
Bills,
just
energy.
think about it, and don't get me wrong. I get the idea. You know, you're saying COVID. He did nothing with COVID. He did nothing. Everything was done before he walked in there. If this man had walked in, if Biden had walked into office and done absolutely nothing,
It would have been perfect.
he would have went off as the best president in history. He would have went because Donald Trump had everything set up for him perfectly.
Everything was peaceful, people.
Instead of that, he walked in there and the first thing he did was change every single one of
Here's the
Trump's
thing.
policies.
He shut down a pipeline. What did Putin do? Took the money and went and
That's what
invaded
started.
Ukraine.
That's how he got Ukraine. That's exactly
That's
it.
it.
And then to top it off, later on, what did we do? We destroyed the pipeline. We actually sent scuba guys down
And
and blew up
destroyed
the pipeline and allowed billions of gallons of oil to leak into the
Now,
ocean.
also, look, the president we have now, he left all the machinery, all our guns in Afghanistan.
$85 billion.
And this is the man
worth
who's
of
going to
equipment.
talk about gun control.
And then go further with that. Right
Okay.
now, he left $85 billion worth of equipment there.
Right.
Wait, but on top of that, right now, we're in a situation where we couldn't handle fighting 2 adversaries.
Right.
We can't, like in any of the world wars, we can handle fighting, Germany, whatever,
We did in the past.
multiple
Right.
opponents.
Now
we can't do
move
that
down
now.
to now.
We would make 6 days. We have 6 days of ammunition. 6 days.
Because our president, administration sent more finance over to Ukraine.
And think about that. I
Now
mean,
think
that's
about it.
just crazy. I mean, that's just
Now
absolutely insane.
here, we're done. If anything happens, God bless. That's all I got
We
to
got to
say.
hope to rebuild. And the sad part about it is he's more worried about the green idea than he is about us being destroyed. Which, if to give you an example, right now, Iran is, I believe,
a couple of days away
11
from it.
days from fissile material, which means that they can make a nuclear bomb. So he's worried about whether the air is going to be clean. But if they get a bomb, it's not going to matter because it's not going to be any air.
Right.
It's not going to be any air. They send that bomb up and just take a look at Chernobyl and see what it looks like. That's what it's going to look like.
That's what it's going to look like, people.
The only difference is we're going to be there. That's the only difference. So yeah, keep worrying about whether
Climate change.
Yeah, keep worrying
and going
about
after Donald Trump.
that. Keep worrying because that's really important
Yeah, that's
stuff.
important stuff, right?
The fact that Iran has
That we have
nuclear
China,
weapons.
Russia, Iran right now ready to blow the fucking shit out of
The
us.
fact that
right?
that Iran has nuclear weapons and
Am I
is
allowed to curse?
yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
You can do whatever you
I just
want.
cursed.
So curse all you want.
Oh shit.
Yeah, that's it. Well, I mean, just in case there's that,
No, I'm sorry.
You never know. You might get a kid to watch, or a kid might be watching with a parent or something like that. So let's try to be a little.
Yes, I apologize.
I mean, the kids have heard curses. Don't get me wrong, but let's try not to be gratuitous
Oh no,
about
no. The language is good. I will not effing curse again.
it. Let's use what we used to use, buck.
Hey, Buck.
Yeah,
right.
buck. These
The
bucking
buck.
people are crazy.
Buck, yeah. Oh.
What was the other one? Yeah, there was another one. Bucking, and what was the other one?
Oh yeah, the fucking. Because if you like hockey, you
Yeah,
say
yeah.
get the puck out of here.
Yeah.
All right.
Fork you. That was another one.
Fuck you.
Fork you is a good
Fuck
one.
you. Fuck me. Right? Oh,
Anyway,
but seriously,
fuck you
folks,
too. No, it's all right.
we're in trouble if we don't change this system. So please, in 24,
Yeah.
open your minds.
Yeah,
Open
just
your-
listen. Donald Trump.
Common sense.
I'm going to tell you honestly, and I've met him before, and it's funny because let me.
Yes, we met him.
Do you mind if I tell the first time I met?
Go
Just
right
hold on a
ahead.
minute. Okay, so here's what happened. The very first time I met Donald Trump.
I met him at Trump Plaza. Yes.
The first time I met him, I was on jury duty, and I'm sitting. I don't know if you guys. I don't know if you guys know New York. New York. Listen to that.
New York.
New York. New York. I didn't say York at least.
Say York.
Okay, so New York. I don't know if you guys know anything about the court system down there when you go on jury duty. What you do is you go in this building and you go up, and the elevator is like right in the center of the room, and then out in front of the elevator there's like benches, and then you can either go to the left or to the right,
right.
and there's two rooms that are identical. They just have chairs chairs in them, leather
I
chairs.
remember that.
So I got off the elevator and I'm sitting at the two benches right in front of the elevator, and the elevator closes, and about 2 minutes later it opens again, and there's this really tall guy coming out. Okay, really tall. And behind him, there's 4 other guys, and they're taller, they're bigger, and they look like football players, man. I'm not even kidding. And he walks out, and it was Donald Trump doing jury duty. He showed up for jury duty. Now, he could have figured out 10 ways to sunset to get out of it, and he showed up. And he
American
stayed.
citizen.
He stayed for a while, and he was going to stay for the day, by the way. I just want to make this clear. He was going to stay for the day, and because he was creating... At that point, people liked him. And it's not like it is today. This is going back about maybe 20 years
ago,
easily. Yeah. And at that point, people liked him. So he was getting a crowd around him, So they actually asked him if he would leave because he was creating too much of a...
It's amazing how they liked him back then.
Yeah, well, I could show you pictures of everybody who hates him today with their arms around him, with smiles, kissing him,
Yep.
So,
Yep.
I can't, my favorite thing is when they call him anti-Semitic and he's got a Jewish grandson, a Jewish daughter, and a Jewish son-in-law, but he's anti-Semitic,
He's anti-Semitic,
and he does. And Netanyahu is one of the first, is his biggest fan.
They're good friends. They're good friends.
He happens to be the leader of Israel. I mean, but Donald Trump's, anti-Semitic, and he's homophobic, and he's all
racist, everything.
Come on,
He's everything.
Listen, you can throw words out, but every time you say them, in reality, you yourself know that
I
they're
met
not
him
true.
outside Trump Tower one year. Yes, and he's just a nice guy. He said hello. He says hello.
Well,
guy.
let me tag this a little further, okay? So then it turned out I got a client, all right? And the client was very well off. I'm not giving names or anything, but the client was very well off. And it turned out that their daughter, right, was engaged to, what's the son-in-law's name again?
Jared.
Jared, right? Kushner, Jared Kushner. Their daughter was engaged to Jared Kushner, so it kind of like brought us full circle. Anyway, but I guess we're pretty much done. We're coming up on the half-hour mark.
Where are you?
So-
Oh yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Anyway, that was my son, guys. Have a great day. We'll talk to you later.